In this video, we're going to talk about finding the right niche, or niche as some people say, to develop your software application. This video is going to be all about finding the right audience fit for your software. Hey, it's Eddie from Our Studio Works, accompanying you on your journey to become an indie software developer. On this channel, I give tips and advice to becoming an indie software developer, helping you create your own software and services. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Make sure you click on the bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. In my first video, I talked about the traditional way of developing software as an indie developer. I will link it in the card above. The traditional way of building a software is you get an idea of the app you want to build, you go ahead and code it up, you have a prototype, and then you start marketing it, hoping that it will resonate with people as much as it did with you. In the end, you hope that they will sign up to your app, and some of your signups will like the application so much that they will pay you to use it. Today we're going to talk about a different approach. We are going to essentially do the reverse of the traditional approach. We're going to start looking for the audience first. This will help us narrow down on the software we want to build. When you're just starting to build your app, it's a very good idea to define who your app is meant for. If you say that your app is meant for everyone, you will have a hard time trying to market it because you don't really have an audience at this point. This is where finding a niche comes into play. When you find the right niche, you will have a very specific demographic to talk to or even relate to. For example, for me personally, I would easily relate to software developers above 40 who are also interested into making YouTube videos. As you can see, this already eliminates a lot of people I do not have to advertise to. So if I build an app for that specific audience, I can easily target them because I know exactly where to find them since we hang out at the same places on the internet. So how do you determine which niche is right for you? A lot of developers start with a random idea and they are all trying to find a solution to a problem. That might be a good way to start with, but a better way to start is trying to solve a problem you are having. If you scratch your own itch, you will have all the background knowledge you need to develop a solution instead of going out and learning about a completely new field. Going to my audience above, I will more easily develop an app that uploads videos in batches to YouTube. If instead I decided to go with a totally new field to me, like say fishing for example, I would have to spend a lot of time researching to gain any knowledge in that field. Now, where do you find those niches? If you're solving your own issues, you already know where your audience is because you're probably hanging out at the same virtual places as them. For example, blogs, forums, probably follow the same people on Instagram. But say you're thinking to yourself that you don't have any other interests apart from programming, which by the way would be a pretty difficult audience to build any software for, since most people in that audience are already programmers. In that case, I would suggest looking to the people closest to you. Find out what their passions are, what they do for work. I'm pretty sure they'll love to tell you all about it. And just like that, you have an expert on a subject matter, and you can help them resolve any issues they are having. Let's take a quick example. Let's say your wife is a real estate agent, and she wants to be immediately notified if any buyer is interested in one of the properties that she has for sale on her webpage. Since she is always on the road and sometimes the internet can get spotty at some places, she doesn't get her emails onto her phone until she gets into a good coverage area. But she says that she always gets her text messages. This is just a hypothetical scenario, but this is the kind of insider information you want. You could therefore make an app for her that would send her an SMS as soon as a client signs up with all the client details. And she could call them while she is on the go. And she will tell you if the app will be useful to her colleagues too. And there you go, you have an audience to work with. You now have the requirements and a group of people who have the same problem. All you need to do now is code up a solution. If your app does a great job making them money, saving them time, and improves their efficiency overall, they will definitely be willing to pay you money for your services. Still can't think of any niches you want to work on? Go to Facebook and see what groups you are already a member of. Facebook groups are very powerful as they regroup a set of people who have the same interest. Each one of them can be an audience, but not all of them are created equal. So, what do we have to look for when choosing a Facebook group that we want to work with? First of all, we want to be in a group that we already have an interest for, or maybe join a new one. There are three different types of groups: public ones, private ones, and closed groups. The more restrictive ones, closed and private, are usually the better ones because there is a barrier to get in. And usually their members are more active, responsive, and relevant. Some public groups are good, but you will most likely find a lot of spam messages on them. Their members are not actively reading posts since anybody can join in and just start posting. Closed groups usually ask a few questions before you can join in. They do that just to make sure you're the right fit for them. And as for private groups, I believe you need an invitation to get in. Some groups are support for products that require a purchase. So if you didn't purchase that product, it's very unlikely you'll be able to get in. When joining a group, you need to make sure it's very active and has high engagement of the members. For that, you can check out existing posts and see how many likes and comments they get. Also check the date of the last post. That may seem obvious, but some groups are already dead and there are no active members anymore. Some of them don't even have any admins. The size of the group is not always a good factor to determine the level of activity in the group or the value of the group. Some very large ones could be filled with spam, whereas smaller ones could be very responsive. In any case, make sure you read the group rules page. It should have all the do's and don'ts. Try to participate actively with all the members and the admins so that everyone gets to know you and know that you are a good neighbor. By participating, I mean leave comments, likes, make suggestions, and add anything of value to the group. Since you will be interacting with the members directly, you will very easily find any issues they are having, and you can then develop your own solutions to resolve these issues. Using this approach, you already have an audience for whom you are building an application. You can then launch a free version of your app and ask current members to be your beta testers. From that, you'll be able to get valuable feedback from your exact demographic. This is invaluable for the success of an application. You then just need to iterate quickly and release your app to a larger subset of that audience. So for a quick recap before we end this video, find a niche first before you code anything. Start with yourself, try to resolve any issues you're having. If that doesn't work, go to the people closest to you. Finally, try Facebook groups. So find a niche, find a problem, and resolve the problem. That is the key to a successful application. This is it for today. So if you got any value out of this video, please go ahead and smash the like button as this helps the YouTube algorithm to show my videos. This will really help me put out more content for you guys. See you in the next one.